Welcome to the Not Salty Podcast. In this episode, we interview the almost, kind of, probably so, yeah, he's famous, Nick Fratz-Orr, or as we call him, NFO. Yeah, he's that cool. He's got initials for a name. We talk about how he was homeschooled while growing up in Garrett County, Maryland, how he got into motocross racing, how he became a pro motocross driver, basically just because he wanted to outperform his brother. He talks about the life of being a realtor, and we hear about his best honey stories. So if you like the four non-blondes, hold on to your seat. This is a good one. What's up, guys? We're here at episode number 3. Officially the 3rd episode.
Yep, that counts. Math checks out.
Sweet. Nick, you having a good day?
Yeah. It was cold.
Kristin, any exciting news to tell us?
I did pass my broker test. I'm officially an associate broker.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
You know what they say about brokers, right?
I would love to know.
They're always broke.
Is that right?
That does track. That tracks.
Episode number 3. In this room, we are here with all realtors. All of us are realtors. Only Kristin's a broker, but kind of a realtor. She doesn't sell stuff. It's complicated.
Can sell.
That's a whole nother episode. We'll talk about that later. The new realtor in the room is our buddy Nick Fratz-Orr.
Welcome.
What's up, Nick?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
So, I don't know. We've probably not told you anything about this episode because we really don't prepare all that much. But you do have a White Claw in front of you. You seem happy, and we're glad you're here.
Thanks, man. I'm recovering from poison oak, which I haven't showed you guys yet, but I have really terrible, like, stomach rash, arm rash thing, and I think it's payback for not hiring Steve Bennett to do the work for me. I think that's what's really going on here. The people I hired did a great job. I couldn't be more thankful for that, but they failed to tell me that one of the trees that I was handling, when I was getting rid of the trees, was infested with poison oak. And so I picked them up, all strong and whatever, these big, like 80-pound chunks of
Were you
log.
shirtless picking them up?
Sleeves were rolled up.
But we had bets if you'd take your shirt off on this show or not. There is a running bet. So the poison ivy, maybe not.
Great. Now you're not going to have to watch the episode to find out.
Actually, I researched it, and if you're in the same room with me, you're susceptible to poison ivy and poison oak.
Wow.
Disclosure.
I've never gotten poison oak. Steve gets it all the time, and I've never gotten it.
I'm just kidding. It's not actually. You can't catch it. It's once it's on you, it'll go away. It has to run its course.
That's what she
but
said.
it's terrible.
So I hate poison ivy. I don't think I've ever had poison
Sorry,
oak,
Steve.
but I've had poison ivy, and I'm giving you a kind of a look skip over out of that one. But it basically feels the same. It's just really itchy.
It's terrible.
Show us.
It's horrible.
Show us your arm. What does it look
I
like?
got.
Ew.
There's that there, and then this part is pretty
Oh.
rough, and then this one's not as bad.
Looks like you broke your wrist there at one point, too.
I shattered it.
Mike, I'll give you $10
Couple
to
times.
touch it.
No.
$10.
No,
Nick, get it
10
sappy.
big ones.
Hey, scratch and get the sappy stuff coming out and rub Mike's arm. $10. Come on, that'd be great.
I'll put
I
it
have
on,
a baby
put it
at
on
home,
LaCroix.
damn it.
I don't know if the camera can see Mike right now. But he's super nervous. He's like,
His face is getting very red.
I specifically placed my chair as far away as possible.
from the cameras.
No, yeah.
so Nick, I guess you're actually a local. You grew up here, born and raised Garrett County.
Good old Garrett Countyan.
I don't remember when I met you. I think I don't know. I remember being at your house one time really late with your older brother and your dad getting mad, and I think you were 10. So I've known you for a while. I'm really hoping you don't remember that because you were only 10 and I was like 11, but I'm obviously older than you. So anyway, born and raised in Garrett County. One of the things I probably get into the most, or first, because I figure you want to talk about it, is you're a professional motocross racer.
I did that for a while. I haven't raced for a few years. Well, I raced last year, but I got a little tied up doing this thing called real estate, and it my customers call me on weekends.
You make your own hours, just work when you want to. Really easy job.
Yeah, honestly, like nobody really bugs you at late at night or first thing in the morning, like before you wake
Couple
up.
text messages here and there.
Yeah, but it's nothing too crazy. So anyways, I grew up racing motocross. I started racing in like 2000. My brother and I got one bike, one turned to like 2, and then we probably had like 80 or 90 bikes since then. I mean, like we've had like a lot of bikes.
Did your dad do that? Like, what made you guys get a bike?
My cousin Zach Fratz had this. His pap had this. His pap B Deckman had this old like 1970s metal dirt bike in his garage that wouldn't work, and so Zach fixed it up and like got it running, and we started riding over at my Uncle Mike's place at Zach's dad's house, just right down the road. We started riding that thing, and we were like, Dad, this is the coolest thing. Like, we have to have him. So my sister was in an accident, and we were going back and forth to Morgantown. We were going past this bike shop, and so finally, like, we convinced my dad to like let us stop there. So
One right there in the corner by the airport.
Yeah,
It's the biggest trap. You have to go in every day.
yeah. So we went in there. And we were like, Dad, like, you gotta get us a bike. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. So we left. And then, like, I don't know how much longer it was, but we went back, and Dad's like, you want the red one or the blue one? And I was like, I want the blue. And Derek's like, I want the red. So we got the red. And
No hard feelings, Derek. You're listening.
yeah. So anyways, we got that thing, beat it to death. And we told Dad, we were like we would get off the bus from school, and we would run, like sometimes Mom would be late for whatever reason, and we would run up to the top of the hill. We would get on a ladder in the garage, and we had this like pegboard set up where Dad would hang the key like 8 feet up. So me and Derek would put a ladder up against the wall, climb up, grab the key, and then put it in the dirt bike and go ride it through our woods back at our old house. And that was like kind of how we got started. We started hitting these little races. We went out to a track that you probably remember, Lightning Valley and like North Hills.
Is that
and like
Rick's place?
He ran it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know who owned it, but anyways, we went out there, showed up to these races. They had like rubber band starting lines. So like they would release a rubber band from one side, and it would, obviously the person closest to the rubber bands would be able to get the start because it would release quicker. We showed up there and we were like, dude, there's Jeremy McGrath, there's Ricky Carmichael. Like, we had no idea where we were at, and like it was just random people on the track. Like, but
It was really your cousin Zach.
yeah, but yeah, right. But like Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael were like the best riders in the world at that point in time. So we didn't know like what we were showing up to, but we just started riding, man, and we had fun. We kept beating the crap out of these bikes, kept buying more of them, and then I started going to bigger races. And then in 2012, my brother got his pro license, and I got mine in 2013. And then I started racing. I was terrible. I was such a head case when I first like got my pro license, but then I started like getting good, and I started like competing and stuff, and scored pro points in 2018, which is basically like when you finish in the top 20.
How do you get your pro license?
You have to pass a broker's test.
Yeah, Kristin's eligible. I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can send in like a letter of recommendation, like from different peers who can give recommendation to get your license. You can score pro points from like pro am races, or you can go to Loretta Lynn's amateur national championship and either qualify in 450A Pro Sport, which is like the best class there is, and that's how I got mine, or you can finish top 20 in the 250A class. So that's kind of like the three ways you can.
Don't you have to have a sponsor too? Like, don't you have to have like somebody sponsor you?
Mom and Dad.
Oh, for real? That's it?
Well,
Okay.
Rayleigh Realty.
And Rayleigh Realty, yeah.
What was Rick's last name? I remember this.
Bittinger.
Okay, this probably would have been
Yeah.
99, 2000, about the time he got started.
Yep.
Rick had that, I feel like it was like an old gas station kind of thing. He set this racetrack up around it. And I remember seeing your dad there, and I honestly don't remember you. You were probably 10 or something. But that was
You
one
weren't
of the,
that good yet.
Well, no, but I still remember this, and probably because your dad and I have talked about it so much. I remember that somebody had told your dad, or I'm sure it was before this day, that you wanted your kids to ride dirt bikes instead of four-wheelers because four-wheelers gave you a false sense of security. Like, I've heard your dad tell this story, and you're on a four-wheeler and you're like, oh, I'm safe. Just like you're like these guys who have Suburbans and they go down the interstate in the snow and 4-wheel drive at 90. They feel safe like they're in a tank, but they're really not in a tank. And in a 4-wheeler, kind of
more
gives
weight
you
going
that,
faster.
Yeah, it kind of gives you that same false sense of security. The little bit I know about dirt bikes is it's very, very, very little. You're not secure at all. Like it's insane. How many broken bones have you had?
A lot. I've broken my right leg 5 times. Both my wrists at the same time twice. Collarbones.
I got to go back. To that. Okay, so
yeah,
when you break both of your wrists at the exact same time, who wipes your butt?
Mom.
There you go.
God bless.
I honestly expected a tiger claw. There are certain things. If we ask you, you could not answer. I mean, that was very cool, your mom. But
yeah. No, she was a trooper. But then I would cut my cast off, and then I would, then I'm good.
The cast is just for
looks. Yeah, I'd have like a cast, with some steel pins sticking out of it, and then I would just like cut the cast off. I'd show up at the doctor like 4 weeks later. They're like, well, "What happened to that?" And I'm like, So luckily, like one of my doctors here, Dr. Toole, he's really cool, and he was like, "Well, you're an idiot." He would just tell me straight up, and he's like, "You're an idiot. You can do what you want, but you're going against my guidance. So whatever happens to you, that's kind of on you." I'm like, oh, "Okay, all right."
So a lot like dirt biking and interviewing the same. I'm not very good at either one of them, and I cut you off before you answered your question. How many broken bones have you had? How many total? Do you know? Like,
I mean, I counted before, but I honestly don't know.
The wrist had to have been the worst. Like I remember you told me you were doing a jump. Explain how you broke your wrist. I remember your last time you told me it was only like a couple years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Yeah. So
you came down and it just I'll stop talking.
Yeah. No, you're on to something. So interestingly, it was both times I was riding Supercross. The first time was in 2010. I came up short on
Supercross is big jumps. Like you're talking 20, 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, and like they're really peaky and like technical. So like you have in motocross, you have motocross and you have Supercross. Motocross is outdoors, like through like somebody's field with these big jumps and a 40-man starting gate and longer motos, like longer races, really intense heat, exhaustion, whatever. Then Supercross is indoors, shorter time frame, but way more intense because you have like really aggressive out of the corner, like tight jumps where you kind of ramp up, hit these jumps, and then you're straight into another jump, and then straight into another jump, corner, whoop section. There's no break. And like for anybody who's listening to this podcast who studies heart rate and stuff, like you're like 190 to 200 heart rate for like 30 minutes. Good. I mean, you're like near death. For some people, like, and it's pretty
adrenaline
gnarly.
And physical.
Yeah, you have a good mixture of them. So anyways, in 2010, I was just kind of play riding on a Supercross track, and there was like this triple tabletop to tabletop, triple jump, and I went triple, table over table, and then I tripled in this corner, and I came up short and snapped both my wrists. Didn't even crash. And I like rode around, and my left arm's like bent into a T, and my right arm, like I didn't know it was broken at the time, so I just kind of kept going. I rode up to my friend Nate, who was like standing at the edge of the field, and I was like, "Hey Nate, I broke both my arms. Like I need you to take my bike." And he's like, "Shut up, dude, go ride." And I was like, "No, like I broke both my arms, and I need you to take my bike. Like, can you help me get off my bike?" And he's like, "Wait, like you really did, huh?" And I was like, "I wouldn't lie, dude. Like they're broke."
Look, this one's bent to the left.
Yeah, so I like pulled up my sleeve. So I go down there and
you came up short on a tabletop.
No, like a triple jump.
So you tried to clear all three, and
I came up short, and then my wrist took the impact.
Oh my god!
So they just buckled.
So I don't know this, and a lot of people probably don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're jumping on a tabletop, for example, you want to obviously jump on the up ramp. You do not want to land on the middle. You want to land on the downside because that helps you with impact.
Yeah,
that's what you missed. Like you just missed that somehow.
Except it was a triple
jump.
So basically,
so instead of a tabletop,
tabletop is forgiving. So like you can land on top and be fine.
Oh, okay.
You can jump a little further, and then clear it and be fine. If you come up short on like a double or a triple jump,
I
mean, there's no forgiveness.
You're hitting a wall.
You're landing on top of a mountain, pretty much. So these particular jumps, like in Supercross, are real steep. And if you come up short, you pretty much come to a halt. Like if you land on top of a tabletop, you just keep going. You bounce off. You just come to a halt. So your wrists take all the blunt of
Are
the
you
wrist.
taking notes, John?
Dude,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So what not to do on your new bike?
Yeah, don't do that.
My biggest jump ever was when I got my 4-wheeler. My parents got me. I was so excited. My cousin sold his 4-wheeler to my mom and dad. I feel like I was 17 or 18 years old. They had just moved up here. I don't think I was living here yet. And I came up for Christmas. My parents gave it to me. I'd never ridden a 4-wheeler. I was so excited. And I take off out of the garage and I make it to the first turn and I rolled it over. And nobody told me how to ride a 4-wheeler. And I was like, shit. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm okay. And this is the second thing. I was like, okay, lie to your parents. Don't let them know you just wrecked. And
100%.
But the 4-wheeler's crushed.
100%.
and oh, by the way, I'm way too old to be having these thoughts. But anyways, first thing that goes through my head, it was just lie to mom and dad, don't lose this thing. And it was great. And I had fun. And probably the best I ever got at jumping that 4-wheeler, it was a Honda 300EX. And this would have been 94, 95, 96, something like that. I'd actually make my mom stand in the backyard and measure me when I would jump. She'd tell me how high I got. And I mean, my mom's only 5'5", so I never got really high. I'm going to tell you that my highest jump was maybe 2.5 feet. I don't know. I wasn't fishtailing at 37 feet like you do. So, it was a false sense of security. I should have been on a dirt bike instead of a 4-wheeler.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like if you're on a 4-wheeler, like I mean, if you know how to ride a 4-wheeler good, like there's probably ways to prevent like an accident, because you know how to lean and stuff like that. But if it rolls, I mean, you got like at least twice the weight that's going to slam you. And there's, to me, there's more variables with a 4-wheeler, but I'm not a 4-wheeler rider. Some people like 4-wheelers. That's okay. Props to them because they can do it way better than me. But I do see, dirt bikes as a little bit of a safer option.
I've always joked
For kids.
that I can drive anything. Like I really think I can drive anything. And then this summer, I thought I could drive a tractor, and I wrecked it. And
I remember that.
I guess the point to it is I can drive anything, but I also wreck pretty much anything. Like I've literally wrecked everything I've ever driven. Like I'll pride myself that, dude.
I know why you won't buy a new truck.
No, thank you. No, you know why I won't buy a plane. This is where it's coming. Like a lot of my friends have pilot's license. It sounds awesome, and I kind of sort of want to 100% want to get one someday when I have more time. But no, I can drive anything, but I also wreck everything. I've wrecked boats. I've wrecked jet skis. I've wrecked 4-wheelers. I've wrecked a tractor. And it's just, but that's kind of part of driving it, right? Like,
No.
This is why I cringe when you text me pictures.
I wrecked mountain bikes.
If you text me a picture of anything else but a
Maybe I'm
125,
not very good.
it scares me. I'm like, oh my God, John's looking at a 450. He's gonna die.
Okay, so
I should recommend that he doesn't buy it for sure.
No, I need to ask you about this because it leads into another thing. For every listener, I'm 45 years old, and I've always wanted a dirt bike. And I'm really weird about stuff, right? Like I don't let myself do something until I do something else. Like it's kind of weird. So I had this old jet ski and I want a new jet ski. So I made myself sell the old jet ski and get a new jet ski. And then recently I sold a 4-wheeler and I made myself a promise if I sold it, I'd get a dirt bike. So Sunday, 2 days ago, I got a dirt bike. And I don't think I know what I bought.
You bought a YZ 125.
So
it's a 2003.
It's a 2003 YZ, whatever you just said.
How do you know this?
Because I texted Nick first. I was like, hey man, is this a good deal? Should I get it? Because it's happened once before. Like there was a bike once before I was going to buy. I think it was one of yours. And I was like, hey, should I buy that from you? And Nick is
true
like,
story.
Nick goes, no, dude, you're going to kill yourself. You do not need to ride this bike. And I was
It
like,
was a 450.
I was going to say, John's like a pro motocross
They go
bike.
like 70 miles per hour. Like, no, dude.
But
My
so-
first bike should be the hardest one you
this
can
is
drive.
this is how ridiculous it is in my head. I was like, oh, Nick's selling his bike. I can ride that. You know what? I probably couldn't have, and thank you for not selling it to me. So then I
Lives to tell
finally
another
found
day.
one the other day, and I'm like, Nick, should I get this? And he's like, dude, if you're gonna buy it, I will. It's a great deal, whatever. And I got it. And then so today I was telling Russell about it, and Russell goes, no, you didn't buy that bike. I was like, yeah, I did. Check it out. And is that like a complicated bike to ride?
It's a 2-stroke, man. You just got to mix the dry gas.
It's so loud. It's so awesome. It's like it is like I rode it. I haven't ridden it very much.
You missed
yet.
that.
Yeah, I know. I caught into it. We'll bounce onto that in a second. So anyway, my heart rate just went up. My watch went off. I was getting excited about riding dirt bikes. I have a heart rate
I thought
monitor
it
on
was
my
the
watch for
two-stroke
some
joke.
reason. It actually was the 2-stroke joke that set it up. So anyway,
got revved up a little bit.
I got totally lost. My favorite part about riding this bike, the two-stroke, is, dude, I was just, like I'd be going. So it took me a while, and the worst part
Are you
is,
driving around the Blakesley?
oh yeah, I was driving. I was driving to Blakesley. I drove through Holy Cross. I drove down.
Neighbors are like, what are we gonna do?
I had
What are we
Persian,
gonna
I had Persian
They
Farms
scheduled an
stopping a
HOA
wheelie.
meeting.
And so this gets back to the whole thing why I don't need to drive certain things, but I think I can. I don't even know how to change the gears. Like I assumed it was 1 down and 3 up, maybe 4 up. I don't even know. I don't even know
think
what
it's
gear I
5
made
up.
it. There you go. I don't think I made it past 4. But so
That's
I,
good.
I took off and I was in neutral and I was like, I got this. So I put it in. I put it down in gear 1. And I started and I had blue jeans on and I at least had my 4-wheeler helmet on. And dude, I popped a wheelie. And I mean, I didn't mean to. I let off the clutch too fast or something. And it was like, okay, so within my first 7 seconds, I was front tire up in the air. And then I split my pants. Like, I don't know what I did. I must have tensed up or something. I had like a big crotch rip right down in my pants. And then I kind of got the front tire back in the ground. I kind of got a hold of it and I rode for the next half hour or so. And it was great. But that's,
So you're driving through the most prestigious community in Deep Creek with ripped pants.
and I was totally like, I don't know why. So I got to learn how to shift gears better. I'd be like in first gear going 40 and it was like, meh. Like if I was nervous to change gears and I'd figure it out. But
People are like walking down the street like, that guy sold me my house.
oh no, I had a helmet on. They couldn't recognize me. I don't have really stickers on my helmet.
at the next agent
His
at
bike's
the next
not.
HOA meeting, they're talking about the vigilante, the bike vigilante.
There is. I do have a street bike too. I'm not very good at
Our
riding
agent's a
either.
thug. Oh my gosh.
I ride the same helmet on my regular
that guy
motorcycle.
from
I look
Baltimore?
like a total doofus. I ride around on this road bike with a 4-wheeler helmet on. But,
Do you have your
Hey man,
motorcycle
it probably
license?
works.
so Tiger Claw.
Super Tiger Claw.
Yeah, no, I've only ridden on private roads.
Easements.
Easements.
Yeah.
Easements.
I know all about easements now.
So let's get back
You'll
to
forget
Nick.
about it eventually.
All right, so
Yeah.
you grow up in the adventure sports capital of the East Coast. You got
Why?
all
Wait,
these
what,
things.
in between there, why did you start homeschooling? Was it because you were racing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually remember coming home one day, and I always made the joke that my brother paved a bad path for me in school.
Is
'Cause
Derek older than you or younger?
he's a year older than me.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, my teachers don't like me because Derek paved a bad path. But that wasn't really true. I mean, me and Derek we kind of goofed off. Like, we got good grades and stuff. And if we ever had like a bad, midterm or something like that, that was like a C or like 1 year, like.
So wait, you went to regular school and then went to homeschool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I went to regular school till the end of 7th grade, and then I got into homeschooling in 8th grade. And at the time, homeschooling was like obsolete. Like I don't know if my parents got a lot of criticism, but I bet they did. And like I was too young to know about it. Or to like understand it, you know what I mean? Because it was different and like nobody else did that. But to me, I had went to this really like elite training school in February of 2007, and I like came home and I was like, dude, I'm going to go pro racing. Like I'm like 12, 13 years old, but like I'm going to go pro. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And here's everything I need to do to do that. And so I like came home and I was like, Dad, and Mom, I want to get homeschooled. I was like, I don't like school. I spend a lot of time there where I'm doing nothing. I could be training or riding. And so like 3 or 4 months later, after like crazy amounts of persuasion, I think my parents were probably just like, we're sick and tired of hearing it, honestly. And they just like gave in.
Just drop out of school, whatever.
Yeah, but they were kind of like, well, here, if you we'll allow you to be homeschooled if you do like this, and this. So it was like, wake up, go to the gym, do my schoolwork, then go ride and do my training, then like work on my bikes and stuff. And like I had to be regimented, and like it started off that way, and then I kind of got like lazy a little bit and like kind of stopped doing my schoolwork a little bit or a lot. And but as I stopped doing that, I started getting more into like the riding and training and like the bike work and stuff like that. And I like became pretty like passionate about that. I started working on other people's
You're a
stuff.
teenage boy. What do you think you're gonna like better?
Yeah, it was fun. It was so much fun. It was so, and not that like the schoolwork like wasn't good. It's just it wasn't like what I felt like compelled to do, I guess. I just enjoyed like figuring stuff out. And I was just always like down in the shop, like working on my bikes. I'd go ride them. I'd rebuild them. I was like 13, 14 years old, like rebuilding motors. Like, who does that? I don't know. I just did it. I just figured it out, and they worked, and they were awesome. And so in 2008, we had like 12 bikes. I have this picture in our shop. We have like 12 dirt bikes. And like 5 of them had like blown up motors. And I was the one who would rebuild them and they didn't blow up because of me. Just disclaimer.
Oh, dude,
but like the motors are blown up. So I would like put the parts list together, do the orders, and then like rebuild the motors. And in 2008, I had broken my leg and was recovering from that. So I couldn't ride.
Did you break it from riding?
Yeah. And I was up in Mount Morris, and I like me and Derek were first and second in a race, and I like came off this hill like out of a turn. My bike kind of kicked to the side, and I stuck my leg out going down this hill, and like my leg took the blunt and it snapped like right there, and like the bone came out and like all kinds of stuff, and like
Ew, it stuck out.
yeah, and like my mom had to like carry my leg on the side of the stretcher
because
it was bent
on the
crooked.
Show and buy her some flowers.
I know.
She's
so
the best person ever.
She is, and honestly, like as
Oh, she's
awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah. She'll be at the Christmas party this year. But like I it's so weird how like age makes you think about that stuff more now, because and like how you grow appreciative of it, because like then like mom and dad paid for everything.
Yeah.
Like now it's like if I want something, I pay for it, and if I do something wrong, I pay the consequence.
Well, growing up,
it is for sure. But you look back and you're like, dude, how did dad and mom take us to these races and take away weeks from work to go do this stuff? Like how, like, and we didn't have, like, email was not super big 15, 20 years ago.
Well, see, that,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's a double-edged sword, though, because then your time's not as demanded either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's but still.
Well,
I see what
let's
you mean.
just back up for the listener. Your dad's a realtor, so he barely works at all, and he makes his own sketch.
Yeah, honestly, he's pretty. Yeah, he's kind of like a little bit of a slouch.
It's
you know?
the best. I love it.
He only developed a couple communities and helped do a bunch of stuff around here, but no time at all.
You'll get it in a couple years. Fenton, you're very close to getting it, and it doesn't make sense till you're a parent. Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you just make time with that. And I bet you if you ask him, and obviously know your dad really well, he enjoyed it as much, if not more than you did. And your mom, too.
Yeah.
I don't know your mom as well. I know your dad real well. But I guarantee you the answer is they enjoyed it as much as you did.
Dude, honestly,
or else they wouldn't have done it.
It's funny you say that, because I think sometimes like I would be getting burnt out of racing and like doing like the pro stuff, because it's so expensive. Like, so you have like the financial aspect, and you have the mental, then and the physical aspect, and then the bikes break and like stuff happens, and you're always like backed into a corner, and you always have to like find your way out. And sometimes I'm just like, it amazes me how they've gotten through that. And I think honestly, like with the parenting thing, like I feel like it's always, if there's a will, there's a way, and you just figure it out because you know you have to, right? I'm not there. I'm not a parent, but I feel like parents are like pretty admirable in that aspect, because you just like, you have to figure it out. And like, so to Kristin's point, like dad was developing like Holy Cross and Creekside, a few other like bigger like developments here. And we're like in Florida at some race, and you know, he's like, no, this is what you're going to do. And we're like, okay, dad. Okay. And, you know, we would do bad, we'd come home, dad wouldn't be happy, you know, or whatever. Or we'd go to a race, we'd do good, and dad's like, yeah, now here's the plan moving forward. Here's what we're doing next. And dad was just like, dad's the man when it comes to like getting the ball moving and keeping it moving. Like
he's just so competitive.
The competition is nuts.
Well, you know, speaking of which, what was it like competing with your brother? I mean,
you know,
he's going to be on here next. So
we should get Derek on here. Honestly, that'd be pretty cool. Me and him did a radio thing at KHJ, WVAQ 1019 a few years back, and it was pretty fun. But competing against my brother. I mean, I feel bad for dad, because dad had to be like, yeah for one, or yeah for both, or damn for one, and hell yeah for the other.
I didn't think about that. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
My son won.
Know?
Oh, my son lost.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's kind of like,
be one.
Kind of one of those things. But I mean, I you know, dad saw it in his eyes, but for me, it was kind of like I always wanted to beat Derek, right? Like I always wanted to beat him. Always wanted to beat him. And then, but we were in 2 different age categories because when we were younger, it was like you had the 65 class, 7 to 9, and 10 to 11. And then when you went up to 85 class, there was a 12 to 13 class and a 14 to 15 class. So I was in a 12 to 13, he was in a 14 to 15. And by the time he was out of that, he was on like the bigger 250 and 450 bikes, and I was, still in the other class. So we competed in like this one class called Super Mini, which was like kind of a hybrid class between the littler bikes, like an 85 and a 125 kind of, and they were like 100cc bikes. We competed there, but we were always pretty close. And actually, when we grew up, like we had like this group of like 10 friends from the track. See, like people think, oh, you were homeschooled, you didn't have any social life. Kristin and Mike and Nina, I'm calling you out.
Not me, Mike.
And Mike Kennedy and Nina Beitzel. I had to run with them on treadmills for like 3 months for like hours at a time.
That
so,
totally
yes,
makes up
that's
for
why I'm
sitting
calling-
in a cafeteria with 100 people. You're right. That's the same thing.
Yeah, we would go roll golf carts at
No.
freaking midnight in Florida.
I
It was way more cool.
appreciate your mom. I appreciate your education, but it's not the same.
Bonding.
Okay. Well,
So I've heard their side of your treadmill story. I did not run on treadmills with you guys for 3 hours. That sounds insanely boring to me. I'm very glad you guys like it.
Were you guys training for something? Or?
They were,
marathon race.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I just remember them the whole time. That's why you're perfect for the show. Like Nina would be like, yeah, we ran for 3 hours, and Nick didn't stop talking.
That is so true.
How do you do so when I run on my treadmill for the minute and a half I can make it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll call you tomorrow. Like, I can't talk when I'm on a treadmill. Apparently Nick can just carry on normal conversation.
Mike's like, all right, like we'd get started on the treadmill. And Mike's like, he's like, all right, Nick, what stories you have for us today?
We remember one time being super hungover with you coming back from Pittsburgh, and I think we're in my old Lexus. And
Yep.
I remember right, Mike Kennedy was driving, Kuma was in the front seat, me and you were in the back seat, which is just teeny tiny, like this little teeny tiny back seat.
So small.
And I remember I was like, God, I'm so hungover. I don't know what to talk about. And I didn't have to worry about it. You talked the whole way, and I just nodded my head. It was wonderful.
He's got that young 20s hangover burn off.
Yeah, there you
Oh
go.
yeah, no,
I don't have it
40-year-old
anymore.
men are struggling.
I don't have it
I
anymore.
wasn't
can tell
40
you.
back then. I haven't been 40
How
forever.
hungover were you after your wedding?
After the wedding, actually not that bad because you see, if you have your wedding at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
and you go to bed at 6, you wake up at 2
And you feel good?
and you drink water.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically taking a big nap at that point.
Yeah.
So congratulations. You just recently got married.
Thanks.
Approximately 6 months ago.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, about 6 months.
Everybody's
5,
still
6 months.
happy.
Same.
Everybody's great.
You hadn't punched you yet or anything?
That's a
She
separate
probably wants
tiger
to
claw.
sometime because
Have you not picked up on the tiger claw thing yet? You don't have to answer every question.
she probably wants to punch me sometimes.
Every wife does.
Yeah,
Not you,
Yes.
but their husbands.
but she hasn't punched me, so that's good.
We ask every guest what their best Honey story is.
Okay.
And I don't know if your best one is from your wedding or if you have another Honey story that tops that.
Well, I don't even have to really look for another one because that was definitely the best one.
You were
Yeah.
pretty good at Kristin's wedding too. That was a good time.
Oh, with
And
the
I missed
cat
a
when
lot
you
of
held
it.
up when you held up the cutout of my cat.
Yes, but that was a Duchess, so we need a Duchess story
Okay,
too.
yeah, that's
But I was just getting in general of all of the places that
Kristin
you
had
go
the
out
hoity-toity
to.
wedding. Yours was at the honey.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah. Man, so my friends down in Florida, the Renslands, they have this like party every year. And it's called like the Dreamland Poker Challenge. And I just got back from that on Sunday, and it's like super, super, super fun. But when we go down there, we always have like 2 big karaoke nights, and so down there, like I had to find a song that I really thought would be good in karaoke, and I started singing "What's Up" by the 4 Non-Blondes,
What?
and you should add that in here. What's going on?
We don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
to. You just did.
Yes.
Like recently or like
Well,
right
send,
before
yeah,
your wedding?
send us a
I'm
clip
lost in
if
the
somebody's
timeline.
got it.
Oh, this started in like 2019.
This is his
Which-
go-to.
It's my go-to karaoke song
Ah,
because
okay.
Gotcha.
I sing it pretty good, and
We
Clearly,
can't.
we
We can't
just
do
gotta-
an out. We can't do an outtake. That's my dad's favorite song, by the way. It's so weird. That is my
Oh,
dad's
really?
legit favorite song.
It's an awesome song.
We're gonna bring him in here one time, and you got to sing it to him. He loves it.
That's great.
Who just remade that song? It's popular again for some reason. Some country person just
Yeah,
remade it.
and Anna and I
It's not
listened
as
to
good
that.
as
Probably on Stranger Things or something.
It'll
Anna
probably
and
get
I
picked
listened
up
to
from
that on the way home from Florida on Sunday, and we both agreed that my version is better. So
Whoa.
yeah, and I think it's
They're
like
still in the first year of
Casey
marriage.
Musgroves or whatever.
Ask her that
Yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah, she'd be
I
like,
missed out on the one time to actually do karaoke with everybody at Rayleigh. It was like 2 weeks into me
You
working
didn't miss
there.
out. You made a good decision.
You made a good decision, but it was so fun.
Yeah, I was like, everybody's at Black Bear. This is probably normal. Never
No.
happened
Yeah.
since.
It's not normal.
Were you there for that?
Yeah, you were there for a little bit, I thought.
wait,
I think
We
at
so.
started
Black
the
Bear?
Green
It was
Turtle,
we were
and
at
I
the Green
left, and
Turtle
you
for
guys went to
trivia
Black
night.
Bear.
That's what it was,
Yeah.
trivia
We were
night.
at Green
yeah.
Turtle for trivia night, and then a bunch of us went to Black Bear.
Yeah.
It was 5.
It was so
years ago. It was a while ago.
fun.
When was that, Mike?
Yeah, like 5 or
3
6
years ago, like
Okay. It was
today.
not-
My
2
sense
years
of time
ago
is
today.
horrible. To me,
Yeah.
I feel like that was 5 years.
2
ago.
Might
years
have been
ago.
3 years ago.
I don't know. I don't know if I was there or not.
It was like
Can't
4
remember.
years ago.
Nick was
probably.
homeschooled at the time, so he didn't make it.
2019. Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
It had to have been
Maybe-
before COVID.
Anyway,
it was
I-
before COVID.
I do have a video
Let
of
me see.
Nick singing that at his wedding with no shirt again.
We'll put it in the.
We'll put it in.
Yeah, so I sung that, but there's more to that story. I do want to get into that. So
Good one.
I was
Got it.
super drunk from our wedding, like drinks going down. We went into the dock, parked, and not going to say who's driving.
Well, no, you had a
And-
super sober
Was
driver.
not me.
Yes, we did. And we pulled in, and there's a band there. The band is only going to play for like 20 more minutes. So the band is done. And I walked up to the guy, the lead singer. I forget what band it is, but if you hear this, you probably remember that I was the guy who came up with no shirt on and asked if I could play What's Up and offered you $500 to sing that song.
We need to have call-in people. That'd be great if that guy.
Do you have their
That'd
number?
be
We can call them in.
That'd be amazing. I would love to know who they were.
We can do like a Jerry Springer, like, and now our surprise guest, the lead singer of this band.
It's like the
Good
Short
news,
Brothers.
you're not the father.
Hey, by the way, you're a genius. Okay, so like this is literally the smartest story I've ever heard. So like most people hire a band for their
Wow.
weddings. You're like, fuck that. I'm just gonna go to
I
the
am the
band where there is
band.
one. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You might have to bleep the F-bomb. I got excited there for a minute.
We actually stole Kristin's idea and had a cellist and what was the other one?
Violinist.
And a violinist come out, and they were really good.
They
We
don't know hard rap or the non-blondes.
no, they don't know that. So, but like it was like a lunchtime, wedding. So we didn't want anything crazy. Like we wanted, quick and kind of easy and nice
Great.
with our close family and friends, which is exactly what it ended up being, which was nice.
It was so nice. The
And-
food was so good.
It was really good, wasn't it?
It was so
It was amazing.
good.
Those chicken sandwiches
It surprised me. The chicken sandwiches were
were
insane.
amazing.
Dutch's
At
chicken
Dutch's-
sandwiches?
but it's stuff that's not on the menu. It was like a brunch
Oh.
menu. It was
Yeah.
out of this world.
Their
awesome.
chicken salad is unreal.
And Nick was dumb enough
challenge
to
it.
have an open bar, so we were just
What?
slammed.
11 a.m.
From 11 to 1, we slammed.
Let me show you the bar tab.
Smarter than 11 p.m. That is a very, again, smart decision. Hey, was
So-
that your wedding that had like the caramel cake thing?
The caramel apples, yeah.
Oh my God, that was good.
I know.
remember that being
Yeah,
good.
that was one of the better things. I also had big cardboard cutouts of my cats, and I have a really great picture of Nick. He had a quarter zip, but somehow throughout the night it became a half zip because the zipper got lower. Nothing on it. And he's holding one of my cats over his head. I also have this picture. And somebody put the caption like Garrett County's #1 realtor, and he's holding one of my cats over his head.
This
That's
is
awesome.
True. This is
That'd
true.
be a good thumbnail.
So
Yeah.
I want to show you guys our receipt from Dutch's because it was literally longer than a CVS receipt.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so most of us
bar tab.
most of us don't have as many injuries as you do, so none of us have CVS receipts that long either. How many pills are you taking?
That's if you buy one thing from CVS.
Okay.
Like some shampoo or something.
So I'm coming off of like 60 days being sober at the end of this month, And then it's like a week before the Christmas party.
makes you sound
so
like you're
you
an
guys might
alcoholic.
need to be
I
picking my
know.
ass up off
That's
the
what I
floor
thought.
this year. I'm turning.
Lightweight,
lightweight.
No,
Yeah.
that's our favorite. There's always somebody every year.
I told Mandy I couldn't do it last. She was like, "We gotta get home, the baby." I'm like, "She's got a babysitter."
Wait,
Like,
no, but the van will take you all the way to Friendsville because it took somebody else at our office all the way to Friendsville.
I remember that.
Yeah, Tiger Claw. But anyway, they took. So I mean, they will take you to Friendsville if you want to take the bus home.
Let's also note that Mike's
know.
sobriety is not from alcoholism. It's for personal wellness, and it's, and it's
personal
a decision.
You know what? To be perfectly honest, I just like to do hard stuff sometimes. Like it's difficult for me.
Dude,
Yeah.
Mike, you beat yourself up harder than anybody I've ever seen in my life. Like, no, Mike legitimately beats himself up sometimes. He's
Have you
like,
changed your screensaver yet?
Yes, I did. I had to.
Thank God.
Yeah. But I have it plastered.
Have you seen a screensaver?
No.
As a picture of me at my heaviest over. I never went over 200 pounds. I was over.
It's him shirtless.
Oh,
And he just looks so
I was
sad.
I was hammered too because I told Mandy I was like, all right, tomorrow I'm starting 60 days, blah de blah, and I was like, let's drink all the booze in the house. I'm smoking all of my cigarettes, and then and then I took this horrible picture of myself like swollen with like at like midnight, and then I just shaved off my beard because I was like, that's what I'm doing. I'm cutting my beard off. I'm not if I fuck up, I'm gonna shave it again because I don't like the way I look without a beard. So
I think I've been mad at you twice. Once was when my password on my computer didn't work, and for some reason that was your fault. Sorry about that. And second was when I saw that screensaver on your phone. Like I legitimately looked
for
at
the
Mike.
second time, John was like, I told you once.
I was like, take that
Nasty-ass
off your
picture.
phone. I was like, take it off. I was like, take it off your phone. Like, take it off.
It's not even. He said it's like it's not you, Mike. Like I do what you got to do, but I have to look at that.
No, that wasn't what I was like. I was like, that's
I'm
not
just
what
kidding.
you look like. That would
No,
be like,
it's true.
I don't know, say I went outside and beat myself up for an hour and then took a picture of myself while I was crying. It was the worst, but I was like, that's not what you stop.
Wait, so
That's a good point.
for the listener though, it was supposed to be motivation, right? Every
It
time
is,
you
yeah.
unlock your
Well-
phone, you see yourself as you perceive your worst.
Yeah, well, and it's also I'm doing it over the course of a year, so it's it's
Right, but
not
it was
like,
a long year for your friends and family.
It's true. Even Mandy's like she's like God.
Randy's like,
We will not use
I'm
that
such a
thumbnail.
lucky lady.
I've seen clients that have like accidentally caught it, and they're like, I didn't see anything.
They probably think it's a nude.
It's true. You can only see like this much of my sweatpants.
you're
You need
yeah.
like a privacy screen on your phone, so only you can see it. So like if John comes in or a customer comes in, they're not like, "What is going on?"
to be
Who is
honest,
showing me this house?
the only reason I took it off my home screen is because I downloaded iOS 16 and I couldn't add an app to my lock screen over
Thank you,
top of the
Apple.
picture. Yeah,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
it wasn't by choice.
I sent in a letter. Please, in the new update, remove this feature.
Thank you.
We're worried about our friends.
60
Okay.
days without any drinking though. That's tough, especially with what we do.
Especially
I mean,
in
it's
front of
hard to
us.
do
Though.
that.
Well, yeah, just your job in general, being in real estate, but also like he's been sober while we've been recording the podcast.
And that was the most fun I've just been just now. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait until we say this in the teaser. Like the teaser, hopefully people listen to it. I don't know if you do or not. But in the teaser, we actually announced that we drink during the show. And the sad part is Mike hasn't been able to yet.
Not yet.
Sorry,
No.
Mike.
And
But look
Mandy
at you, look
heard
at
the
your
teaser and she
discipline.
goes, "You were drinking?" I was like, "No, not me." Because
Look at
she's
your
not
discipline.
drinking either.
That is
So
some discipline.
You've got just over 2 weeks.
yeah, I know.
Just over 2
E-minus.
weeks.
He's like we're really excited for
2
him.
weeks
Yeah.
from tomorrow.
Not that he's counting.
awesome.
All right, so we've been talking. We sound like a bunch of alcoholics.
It's so good.
I don't even know how far we're into the show we are, but let's get back to sports or something. So so I was going to say a minute ago, you grew up in the adventure sports capital of the East Coast. Whatever, you decided to go motocross.
Yep.
I've been. Wait, do you ski or snowboard? I've been
Snowboard.
skiing with you. I don't remember if you skied or snowboard. You're,
Snowboard.
you're a pretty damn good snowboarder too. Like, when did you pick that up?
I was probably like 8 or 9-ish. I don't know.
He used
Okay.
the exact same board until last year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Red, pink, and purple, and black
yeah.
snow written on it.
So I finally had it. I was like, Nick, get a new board. So I called Heather at High Mountain Sports, I was like, Heather, do you have any good snowboards? I think I'm like a 150 or a 155, size, or like a 160, I don't know, size, like snowboard. Do you have anything like that size? She goes, yeah, there's one more. It's really good. It's like $1,000. And somebody's here looking at it. And I'm like, is that the only one you have?
Salesperson.
And she's like, well, this is like when like everything is spur of the moment. You like a house, write the offer. You like a car, order it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you like a couch, it'll be here in 13 months.
Peak of COVID.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to make your decision right now.
Madness.
Like major supply demand issues. And I knew that because it's our business. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, all right, what kind of bindings do you have? She goes, we have these really good ones. So I'm like $1,600 later, I got this rockin' snowboard. And I'm like, this thing better be like the
best
bleep.
Investment.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. So, and it was. And I have never liked snowboarding more than when I rode that board. It was sick. It was awesome. But I had the same snowboard from 2006 that I took to Steamboat, Colorado. As I had up until last year, and it was terrible. Like, I would wreck all the time. I never once sharpened my edges. like they were like just round.
You take wide turns, you're fine.
I guess you can never catch an edge if they're not sharp, right?
No, you can still catch an edge.
I don't know what I'm talking
that
about.
drywall edge was sharper than my edges on my
You
snowboard.
would still break your forearms.
Yeah, like you would cut yourself on that drywall edge before you'd cut them on my edge of my snowboard. Like, it was that bad.
We went one day last year because he'll randomly go. So I usually go at night. So we'll go every now and then.
You'll ski?
Yeah, I'll ski and he'll snowboard. So, and then sometimes we're just in line and it's like, oh, hey, we do a couple runs together.
Then we do a couple runs and it's like, hey, see ya.
He went with his new board and he's like, I can finally edge. I understand.
That's the best thing about living here, honestly. It really is, because you'll go snow. You have nothing to do for 45 minutes. You can make 2 runs, and I guarantee you run into somebody you know when you're out there. Like, that's the coolest part about it. I'm more picky on boots than snowboard. Like,
ditto.
Sometimes some of the stuff you're saying, like, I'm like, man, that's the crap I do to myself too. And I went and I bought this pair of boots years ago, and I paid $1,600, but I paid like $250 for them, right?
Thanks, Heather.
And they were horrible. And but I made myself wear them, and I wore them for like 5 years, and I literally got to the point where I almost hated snowboarding because my feet hurt so bad. So then it was Russell. So Russell goes out and decides he's going to snowboard, does it one time and hates it, and sells me his boots for $1. Best boots ever. So I wore those things literally, I think it was last year at Seven Springs. I was there, and my toe popped out, and I finally threw them away and bought a new pair. But no, I'm super, and again, take this for what it's worth if you're listening about being a snowboarder. My 2 cents is buy good boots. Like, boots make your day. If you have crappy boots, stay at home.
I went skiing once, and I rented boots from Wisp.
Yeah.
And they were... I put back on brand new hiking boots that weren't broke in, and it felt like I was walking on clouds. I was like, ooh, these are so nice now for some reason.
Ski boots are so notorious for being uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're terrible.
It was Russell's boots. They were Burton's, and they were one of the first times you spin the dial and they clamp down. I forget what they're called. Boa. And I remember I got so mad when my toe popped out. I was at Seven Springs, and I was with... I don't remember who I was with. I just took them off and threw them in the trash. And they were like, what? And I was like, well, I'm going to go buy new boots. Like, I wore these things until my toe popped out.
I did the same thing with a set of boots like 2 or 3 years ago. I bought new boots because like mine had holes in them. And like if snow got on top of them, the heat from my foot would melt the snow. The water would come in. My feet are freezing. My feet are soaked, at the end of the night. So I bought these boots and I was like, I'll go like mid-grade. And like to your point, don't go anything unless you can't like afford it. Don't go less than the best when it comes to like your feet and your shoes and like your ski or snowboard boots. Like, you got to have good ones. I rode with those one day. I'm like, these hurt. I think my ankles broke. And my toes, and they were like real square on my toes, and like they didn't fit right. And so I took them back. I only wore them once, so I took them back, and I was like, hey, I didn't really like these, so here you go.
You got to go.
Then bought the good ones. Never buy another pair.
You got to go good when you get our age, because things just hurt worse.
That's true.
Like, it is. Like, I remember the last time I fell on my tailbone. It was so embarrassing. I hit my tailbone, wouldn't even bat it on. I limped around for 4 weeks.
Are we going to have like a budget session where we talk about budgeting for old age?
Yeah, maybe we should. That would be a good podcast. But if you're a kid, my 2 cents is, and you're going to agree with this 100% when it gets back to motocross, is just go. Like, if you've got an old crappy bike your cousin Zach found in the garage, just go out there. And my first snowboard, they were imitation. I wore imitation Timberland boots and a black snow snowboard I got from Play It Again Sports. That was my first snowboard. Like, my dad didn't buy me snowboarding boots, and I don't blame him, because who knows if I would have stuck with it or not. Like, I literally wore regular work boots, but I went. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, when you're a kid, you should just go. It doesn't matter if it's crappy. When you're an adult and you can do better, you should take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you get to an adult age, you're like, man, I want to do this my whole life. And you buy all the nice stuff. You're like, yeah.
Right,
Then you get out
Kristin,
there and you're like, oh, I hate it.
ask him your question. What's your favorite question to ask?
Yeah, you have a question?
What are you salty about right now?
Explain what that means.
He knows what it means. He's under 30.
What am I salty about? Oh, man.
Is that
It's
a
a
pound
list.
tag out there somewhere?
A pound.
Pound tag. not
Hashtag
salty?
pound sign.
Listen, John said emoticon for the longest time, and it killed me.
Okay.
What's an emoticon?
I've legitimately never
Is
been
that
on.
the character from Star Wars?
Well, we'll skip that. But anyway,
Did that tiger claw that?
no, emoticon is what they used to call like the smile emojis.
Emojis?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh,
So
that's interesting.
He would say that.
I just figured out what I just said.
Anyway, what are you salty about?
Okay, I actually had to think about that. I'm usually not really like salty. I try to like stay
That's
like
why we invited you here.
thanks. But I mean, I usually try to stay like in a pretty good mood. I mean, sometimes I like bog myself down, then I just find my way out of it. But honestly, right now, I would have to say I'm mostly salty about my wood burning fireplace downstairs. So I had Curtis Chimney come out yesterday, and while my fireplaces, they were like, these things were built incredibly. Like, whoever did your stonework, whatever, they were like, wow, they did a great job. I'm like, cool, thanks. But why is my fireplace downstairs sending enormous amounts of smoke into my basement? My wife hates it. I like, like the ambiance of the wood burning fireplace, but the smoke is out of control, and we have to like figure that out. So there's there's 3 chimney caps or whatever, and there's 2 fireplaces. I guess one of them's closed off. The one downstairs, the flue goes up, goes 45 degrees right, and then goes straight up to the top. And when it makes its first 45, there's like some shelf that's catching the air that they can't get rid of because it's too far up and they can't reach it. And it's blocking the air a little bit so that it's not creating a good enough draft. And that's why it's coming down. And they were like, well, we could, take all the stone off and, rebuild your whole fireplace. And I'm like, yeah, there's 20 grand.
Or you could just not use your wood burning fireplace.
And
I would
that's
just
terrible.
Sell the house.
Yeah, do you know any good listing agents?
Yeah.
Is that a disclosure issue? Do we need to write that in the paperwork?
We might need to talk
material
about it.
fact?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they said for intents and purposes of the inspection, it's a pass. It's fine. It's just a little smoky. So
This is totally reminding me
Perfect.
of.
So it will pass inspection.
yeah,
Kristen's going to make fun of me for bringing this up. It's not a plug, but it's just funny. During one of the Lakefront Bargain Hunt episodes, this guy was talking really bad about the house he bought because it's all this. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but he was talking bad about the house he owned, and I had to pull him aside, and I was like, dude. Someday I've got to resell this house. Could you stop talking bad about it? I was like, you're talking on national TV bad about the house that you own. And he just got so sucked up in the moment. He was like, man, this thing's a turd. And I was like, God, I've got to resell it someday. So your house is very nice.
Thanks.
We need to fix the chimney issue.
yeah. We just got to fix the ventilation issue, I guess. I don't know.
So wait a minute. That's
probably
what makes
I'm
you
most salty
salty? That's the worst thing in your world right now is your chimney?
I mean, there's probably
Pretty bad.
there's
That's
probably,
a good life.
Well,
man.
no,
That's pretty good.
you really do have like such a positive outlook. I feel like all the time.
Thanks. I try. I mean, like, I'm in my head, but I mean, we all are, right? Like, I'm always
Yeah.
in my head, and like, but
I don't
like,
think I've seen you pissed off. Like, I don't remember seeing you ever.
Well, I've
no, wait,
definitely
has
seen it.
Kristin seen it?
I've been there.
Definitely seen it.
Spend more time around me.
How
yeah.
mad does he get? Does he throw things or?
If I'm by
He
myself,
he
then
slams
probably.
stuff,
But but I try not to like Try not to show it. I mean, like when I was a kid, I probably had like a little bit of a problem with that. I'd like throw my cell phone up against the fireplace, like stone, and shatter it, and be like, "Dad, Mom, get me a new phone. This one's crap."
Phones weren't $1,400 back then.
They weren't.
Does
No, they were like
throwing your phone-
$75.
Does throwing your phone on the fireplace improve ventilation?
Right. That's a very good point. It's worth $1,400.
Have you tried
I'm
it?
not gonna try. Well, U.S. Cellular has a promo. Free iPhone.
Hopefully they're not listening.
Bleep. No, but I mean, I don't know. That's probably the biggest thing. Everything else is fine. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as busy as I was like, a year ago. Probably none of us are, which is probably blessing and a curse, I guess. I don't know. But I'm working on my bathroom. That's fun. I did get an opinion from a plumber that while the work I did is, good, it is not perfect, but as a means of code, it is fine. You're
every realtor's
Tiger
worst
Claw.
nightmare.
Yeah. So
I remodeled every room in this house myself. Here's the key.
Yeah.
Good luck.
This isn't drunken realtor stories.
It's been one White Claw.
Yes. Just one. And the other day, I mean, honestly, I'm a little salty about my poison oak situation. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah,
that is a
that's
good
it.
one. I'd be salty.
That's kind of a
about
bummer
that, too.
because I had to drive 16 hours on Sunday to get home and like itchy, sore, and it was just terrible. And like, Anna's in the passenger seat and she's like, "What can I do?" I'm like, I mean, there's like nothing any of us can do because it just has to pass. It just has to like do its course, and it's just been terrible. So yesterday I was like a little bit self-conscious about going into public, so I had Nina cover my duty.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gave up a duty. You might.
I don't give up duties. I'm like a hunter.
Wait,
to get
you gave
duties.
up that duty, and I was
We
like,
might
is he
have to
gonna
explain
be
what
okay for
duty
the
is.
podcast?
I don't know if your average listener knows what we're talking about.
Duty is a big deal.
Yeah. Duty.
So
It's a big deal. Every
Yeah.
realtor does it every day. Big deal.
So all right, can I give you my perception of duty?
Yeah.
Desk duty.
Yeah.
Normal person thinks we're talking about
Give
pooping
it to
right
us.
now, so I would
Okay.
prefer you. Yes.
So I gave away my duty.
Did you throw it like a monkey?
Picked it up and I tossed it.
AKA desk time.
Yeah. So floor duty is at one of our offices when you sit at the duty desk and a person walks in or somebody submits an online inquiry or calls the phone and you are the agent who responds to that person and you help get them to the next step, right? That is your job and it's free and you get several of them a month and it's free. And in my opinion, for any of our new agents who are listening to this, I hope you are, it is the best way to get new business. I mean, it's free. And if you
100%.
don't have marketing, budgets,
Let's back
then
up.
spend your time.
It's
at the
free
duty
to
desk.
it's free to the agents.
And the other thing too, that like we were just on a training about this, and I was driving, so I couldn't hit to chime in. I was gonna say the best thing that they could do is just be in the office as much as possible in general. Like, and what would you be doing if you had a regular 9-to-5 job? Go sit there for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Listen.
literally all I do.
I got so many duties just from being around.
Yeah.
And now I have agents that always call me if they need coverage. You know what I mean? So it's great.
I give Mike all of my duties.
Yeah, I take John's duty.
and you throw it. Splat.
The new agents might be our only listeners, so this probably is going a long way.
Yeah.
We're not on TikTok. Not yet.
We will be.
We're gonna start. We're
Yeah.
starting a TikTok. We're just gonna use hers, right? Or do we have to
Well,
start?
no,
our own?
I'll start
No,
a
we
business
started
account.
not
I'm gonna
We'll
be
have new accounts.
I'm gonna be a character called Genie Hippie,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna give
man, I thought it was gonna be a
philosophical
surprise.
advice.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, now the cat's out of the bag. It'll be
cat's out of the bag.
So I've been trying. So I have like all the social platforms or whatever, and I've been trying to like come up with something that's like catchy on TikTok that's gonna like stick. That's like true.
You have it.
Don't take this.
But true to my roots. And I did like 2 of these, like my favorite thing about this house, like 30 seconds. My favorite thing about this house is check it out. It's my listing. Call me if you want to see it. Kind of like one of those deals. And I just really never like kept up with it. But I thought that was a cool idea, like to do something like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I was like, maybe like, hey, this guy posted all this stuff about his favorite things about these houses. Let's go check it out. And people would scroll and scroll and scroll, and eventually there'd be enough content there that people could just go through the page. You know
I don't
what I mean?
know about this stuff. Do people actually watch TikTok for that? Like I watched, so I did finally get a TikTok account, and it was it's hilarious. But I only watch funny stuff. Like I don't watch real estate.
There's
stuff.
a whole bunch of
So that's
stuff
for
on
me. Like that's what I was talking with Mike
I'm
Kennedy
not that
about.
funny, so I don't know how to like make funny real estate stuff, and so that's like uncomfortable for me. Like I could probably be funny by showing something goofy in a house.
Plenty of people are going to laugh at this. You're funny enough.
No, the best way for social media, you have to like be an avid user, and you have to like jump on trends and well, it's consistency and it's trends. So if there's like a trending sound, you would use that in your business realm, and then like anybody that has seen a couple of our videos will see it. But then they'll see the house video because they've interacted with you on like a social funny level.
So like the ice bucket challenge, like incorporate that into.
Yeah, if it
Real
was
estate?
2012, 100%. That's exactly right.
That was a while ago, huh?
So I'm the least active. Like I don't think I've updated my Facebook picture, like my personal Facebook picture, since I got it, which was only like 4 years ago. So yeah, it's
Is it the one of you hiking?
every like quarterly we do the like, you know, check in and see how you're doing. They're like, so Mike, you know, what are you thinking? I'm like, I need to be on social media more. I don't know. I'm sorry. I say this every time. Like I want to do it.
Mike's just the glamour shot with the blue background in the back.
It's me and Mandy
He went
from
to
our
JC
honeymoon.
Penney's
We're
to
just
get
like,
it.
yeah.
I have seen that.
Yeah. So no, that's where like something like this or like the hippie genie for me, that's like part of my brand. I'm in the band. I like to entertain, stuff I like to do. So I thought it'd be pretty funny. I dressed up as agreed. Yeah.
It's consistency though too. Like you have to always be consistent, and it's like one of those things that's so quick and easy to do, but like the thought process to like come up with stuff. Like did we have a dialogue of what we were going to talk about? No. Did we think we were going to talk about this? No.
But I think that's what makes it kind of entertaining.
But that's the cool part.
Yeah.
That is the cool part too. I feel like on like TikTok though, you have to have like some consistent frame of like cooking or like good recipes for lasagna all the time. I don't know.
Well, you can always go preview houses, right?
Oh, you can do that
anytime
too.
you want. So then you can like boom, like, you know, if you schedule an hour a week or whatever, how often do you have to post on
make
TikTok?
something funny with it. Like I was watching one the other day.
No, it has to be like, just please don't talk about the things you don't know about.
Good point.
Nah.
Literally shut the fuck
Dude,
up.
you were like hippie genie.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's why
No,
I'm staying on the surface and not going up any
Are we
mountains right
bleeping
now.
the F-bombs? Are we going to bleep the F-bombs?
No, I don't think so. This is
Why would we?
We're going explicit content.
Okay, do you just put a little asterisk on there?
There's
or
a big
something?
E at the end, like on rap music.
Spotify probably thinks I'm crazy. I either listen to country or rap. Like that's just kind of what I listen to.
Well, they've been blending those two lately.
It's called crap.
Yeah. Duty.
Throw it.
All right, we are at an hour though. Anything else you guys want to?
Nick, man, thank you. Thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. No, thanks for coming, man. Give yourself a plug. We always let everybody do it. If you are interested in buying or selling real estate in the Deep Creek Lake area, give Nick a call.
That is really hard to say in this room full of agents and or brokers. So I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Actually, he's the world's fastest realtor.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I might be the world's slowest. Watch me run sometime. It takes me a half hour to get up.